Hello, welcome to our news broadcast daily, and following are the highlights.
Prime Minister's speech at ASEAN Summit condemns China's actions in the Sea. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng meets presidents of Myanmar and Indonesia. Japan Group opens Astellura processing plant in Tieng.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng has said China's recent actions are threatening peace, stability and freedom of navigation in the East Sea. He made the remark while addressing the plenary sessions of the ASEAN Summit that opened in Myanmar's capital city, Nay Pyi Taw, on May 11th.
In his speech, Prime Minister Dũng spoke of China's illicit deployment of an oil rig in Vietnam's waters and confirmed that Chinese vessels have rammed and fired water cannons at Vietnamese ships, wounding Vietnamese crew members. According to the government leader, Vietnam has used all dialogue channels to contact Chinese authorities to protest and request them to withdraw the oil rig as well as military ships from Vietnam's waters. However, he said China has not only refused to do so, but it has also stepped up its increasingly serious and dangerous violations. This is the first time China has boldly planted an oil rig in a location lying well inside an ASEAN country's exclusive economic zone in continental shelf. The move is a particularly serious infringement of international law, the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the East Sea, to which China is a signatory. He said that while Vietnam highly values its relationship with China, it consistently opposes law-breaking acts and will resolutely protect its sovereignty and legitimate interests in line with international law. The Vietnamese Prime Minister also called on ASEAN member states, countries around the world, and international individuals and organizations to continue protesting China's acts, as well as supporting Vietnam's legal stance. Given the seriousness of the developments in the East Sea, Prime Minister Dũng suggested incorporating these issues into the chairman's statement at the ASEAN Summit 2014. The ASEAN Summit opened earlier the same day with the theme Moving in Unity for a Peaceful and Prosperous Community. It focuses its discussion on the materialization of the ASEAN community by late 2015 and its development afterwards. While making his opening speech at the ASEAN Summit, Myanmar's President U Thein Sein described solidarity and unity as factors helping the grouping successfully build a prosperous and peaceful ASEAN community by 2015. The ASEAN leaders also focused on a number of key issues, including the promotion of the grouping's central role in the regional architecture, as well as regional and international issues of mutual concern. They also raised deep concerns over the ongoing issue in the East Sea. They asked all parties involved to strictly abide by international law, settling all disputes by peaceful measures without using or threatening to use force.
Later the same day, the chairman of the ASEAN Summit issued a statement on the situation in the East Sea, affirming the importance of maintaining peace, stability, security, safety and freedom of navigation in the East Sea, and emphasized the need to reach the code of conduct in the East Sea. Moving on to other news, on the sidelines of the ASEAN Summit, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng had separate meetings with the presidents of Myanmar and Indonesia.
At the meeting with Myanmar President U Thein Sein, the host leader said Myanmar always attaches much significance to the traditional relations with Vietnam. He pledged to create favorable conditions for Vietnamese investors to run business in the country, especially in the fields of oil and gas, banking and tourism. Both host and guest agreed to work closely with other ASEAN members to raise a common voice over regional and international issues, including those relating to the sea. In his separate meeting with Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, Prime Minister Dũng spoke highly of the president's role in developing bilateral ties, especially the Vietnam-Indonesia Strategic Partnership in June 2013. The two sides affirmed to work closely with other ASEAN member nations to successfully build an ASEAN community of solidarity and consolidate its central role in regional cooperative mechanisms.
Domestic and foreign organizations have raised their objections to China's placement of a massive oil rig accompanied by a large fleet of vessels in Vietnam's waters.
The Vietnam Lawyers Association held an irregular meeting on May 11, approving a statement opposing the move by China, saying its illegal placement of an oil rig in Vietnam's waters is violating Vietnam's sovereignty and its sovereign rights in the EC. The Vietnam Peace and Development Foundation, under the Vietnam Union of Friendship Organization, has demanded China to immediately remove its oil rig and vessels from Vietnam's waters and pursue negotiations to settle the issue. In a declaration released on May 11, it also calls on people around the world to raise their voice and ask China to respect international laws and Vietnam's legal sovereignty, as well as end unilateral acts threatening regional peace, stability, and security. Chairman of the Vietnam Journalists Association, Thuận Hiếu, has sent a letter to his Chinese counterpart to express his deep concern about the escalating tension in the EC. He said the organization resolutely protests these infringements and demands that the Chinese side immediately remove its oil rig and vessels from Vietnam's waters and never repeat such actions again. Many analysts from Australia have raised their objections to China's recent actions in Vietnam's waters. The Interpreter, a paper against of the Lowry Institute for International Policy, has quoted an article saying that the placement of an oil rig into the Vietnam's exclusive economic zone demonstrates China's political ambitions. The article adds China's behavior has been aggressive and reckless, which no private commercial operator would undertake.
A workshop focusing on how to develop a modern model of dragon fruit cultivation in the Mekong Delta province of Long An has been held in the locality.
The event, which brought together more than 200 scientists and researchers in the southern region, along with local dragon fruit growers, offered attendees a good opportunity to share experiences in planting the fruit. Participants discussed a rating of the production process in order to more sustainably develop the fruit and expand its market. They also call on localities across the country to grow the fruit in line with the Vietnam Good Agricultural Practice Standard in order to improve its quality and access international markets more easily. They said that if the quality of Vietnam's food is better, the product will definitely be able to be competitive in the foreign markets. As a product that has great potential for export, the dragon fruit is being cultivated in 32 provinces and cities across the country. The central province of Bình Thuận and the Mekong Delta provinces of Long An and Tiền Giang are the largest cultivation areas with 30,000 hectares.
Vietnam exports to Germany climbed nearly 49% to more than $434 million in March. The figure brought its 3-month export revenue from this market to $1.18 billion, up 1.5% against the same period last year.
Vietnam mainly ships telephone handsets and components, footwear, garments, coffee, timber products, seafood, backpacks, bags, wallets, handicrafts and computers, electronics and cabinets to Germany. Despite a 24.1% fall in value, telephones and components led the export items, raking in $301.58 million, accounting for more than 20% of the total. Coffee ranks second, fetching $161.84 million, a year-on-year rise of 21.9%. Vietnam ships Robusta to Germany through its Saigon port. Garments came in the third at $153.64 million, up 17.4%. Other products achieving high export growth included machinery, equipment and tools, means of transport and spare parts, rubber products, and fruit and vegetables. On the downside, agroforestry products saw a decline in export value, including paper, ceramics, rubber, and cashew nuts.
The Ministry of Finance has recently asked the cities and provinces across the country to keep prices of essential goods and services under control amidst worries that recent increased transport costs will fuel market prices.
General Statistics Office statistics show the consumer price index for April rose slightly at 0.08% over March due to a 0.33% increase in transport costs. The Ministry of Transport's recent decision to examine overloaded trucks caused transport costs to soar, inflating the prices of essential goods on the market. In addition, complications of epidemics in humans and livestock are putting inflationary pressure on the prices, requiring localities to address the matter appropriately. The Finance Ministry asked provincial and municipal people's committees to strictly monitor businesses' listed prices towards stabilized goods, including transport costs and meal prices for children under 6, as well as prices of pharmaceuticals, cement, iron and steel, gas and animal feed.
Japan's Nichirei Suco Vietnam has opened an acerola processing plant in Tiền Giang province, which boasts the largest cultivation area of this fruit among Mekong Delta provinces.
Built at a total cost of $4.2 million 14 months ago, the plant now occupies 3,500 square meters, making it possible to store nearly 130 tons of the fruit from the shrub, much more than its daily capacity. Currently, over 1,200 local farming households are relying on 230 hectares of acerola for a living, mostly in Bình An, Bình Nghị and Tân Đông communes in Golden Cong district. The annual output is estimated at from 4,000 to 5,000 tons, which is distributed across the nation and overseas. Earlier, Nichirei Suco Vietnam invested some $280,000 in an acerola research center in Bình Nghị commune. It has trained local growers in adopting effective techniques in hope that they are able to harvest better quality crops.
With the recent introduction of a number of preferential policies, Phu Quoc Island District is attracting strong domestic and foreign investment, Huỳnh Quang Hưng, Vice Chairman of the district's People Committee, has said.
A series of key projects such as Phu Quoc International Airport, An Thoi International Seaport and the transport routes stretching across the island have been built with a total investment of tens of trillions dong.
Ngay từ đầu năm 2014,
since the beginning of this year, investment has been poured into restaurants, resorts and 5-star hotels on Phu Quoc Island. This will have developed the island in the near future.
Between 2011 and 2013, as many as 94 projects covering 4,214 hectares were licensed with a total investment capital of more than $4.74 billion.
One of the major projects is the 110 kV submarine cable system from Ha Tien City to Phu Quoc Island, connecting the country's largest island to the national grid.
At an investment promotion conference held in Singapore recently, Vietnamese enterprises briefed foreign delegates on Phu Quoc Island's investment potential and incentives. Particularly, a project to turn Phu Quoc into a special economic zone is offering numerous incentives to visitors. Singaporean enterprises are expected to invest in ecotourism zones, urban areas, and in high-tech industrial parks on the island, with a total area of 4,000 hectares.
Vietnam remained the top foreign visitor to Cambodia in the first quarter of this year, with more than 189,800 people traveling to the neighboring country, a year-on-year rise of 4.2%.
According to Cambodian Tourism Minister Thong Khon, Vietnam topped the chart in 2013 with over 850,000 arrivals. As many as 133,500 Cambodians were welcomed to Vietnam in January-March, up over 30% against the same period last year. Tourism is one of the key economic sectors in Cambodia, enjoying an annual growth of 15 to 20%. The country aims to serve around 4.7 million foreign tourists this year and 5 million in 2015, Thong Khon said. It attracted 4.2 million overseas visitors last year, grossing $2.5 billion. The country's popular destinations are Angkor Wat Temple in Siem Reap, the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh, and the ancient Preah Temple near the border with Thailand.
And that is the end of our news. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.